Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Keenan. Welcome to the Pro Football Exclusive NFL Blog. Continuing my grades for each team for their selections of this year's NFL Draft, I'm going to head west to the AFC West Division. Now I'm going to start with the Denver Broncos, who picked up the biggest acquisition this offseason in the National Football League. Peyton Manning out of the Indianapolis Colts. I did mention this before, and because of this addition, I believe that the Broncos are now the favorites to win the AFC West Division. And with the addition of Peyton Manning, I think they can propel them. He can propel them and making it to a good playoff run and possibly a Super Bowl. This is a great addition, especially with a defense that did a lot better than the season before. Now I'm going to start talking about these draft selections, starting with their first pick, Derek Wolfe out of Cincinnati. I really think he's a good, decent pass rusher at the defensive tackle position, and I think he's going to take more pressure off both Elvis Dunverville and Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year last season. I really think both these players are going to deal with more one-on-one situations, and more pressure is going to be put on Derek Wolfe, and I really think they're going to have a good pass rushing defense, and that's a big upgrade in that defensive line. Now the second choice, they went with Brock Osweiler, the quarterback out of Arizona State. Now this kid is in such a great situation because he's going to be the protege of Peyton Manning, and he's going to go under the tutelage of Manning. This kid, Peyton Manning, is a veteran. He's smart. He is a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of all time at the quarterback position, and even an overall player, period. This kid, Peyton Manning, has a Super Bowl ring, and he's going to teach this kid so much on how to make the transition into the NFL. Brock Osweiler has the raw intangibles. He has the size, and now he has the coach over him where he can learn, just like how Aaron Rodgers did while he was at Green Bay, going under the tutelage of future Hall of Famer Brett Favre. Both these two players are in such a great situation. Now, the next selection, they went with Ronnie Hillman, the running back out of San Diego State. This kid ran a 4.40 at 194 pounds, and he had two great seasons. As a redshirt freshman, he rushed for over 1,500 yards, and he did even better last season as an overall running back, running and receiving, having over 2,000 yards of total offense. And I think this is going to be a great compliment with Willis McGahee in that running game. Now, the fourth selection, they went with Omar Bolden, the cornerback out of Arizona State, Brock Osweiler's teammate, and now they're going to be teammates together at the Denver Broncos in the Denver Broncos organization. Now, the reason why this kid fell into the fourth round is because of the medical issues he had this past season, particularly in that shoulder injury, and I think he's going to recover well, and I think this is going to be a great selection and a steal in the secondary for the Denver Broncos. Because of those medical issues, I really think he could have been at least a second-round choice, but dealing with those issues, he had to fall into the fourth round, and the Denver Broncos definitely took advantage of that. Now, in the later rounds, they picked up a good center and out of Baylor, Philip Blake. He's a 26-year-old Canadian, and he is very mature. He has the experience, and I really think because of his maturity, he should start right away at the center position under Peyton Manning. Now, their final selection, they went with Danny Trevathan out of Kentucky. With DJ Williams facing some suspended games, they had to go with a linebacker in the later rounds, and they picked up a tackling machine. Trevathan had over 100 tackles for the past couple of seasons, and I think this is going to add some depth into the linebacking core for the Denver Broncos. Now, overall for this team, I'm going to give them a solid B. I love their draft selections. Trevathan could be a good addition from the linebacking core. They fill in the voids at the cornerback position with Omar Bolden, and they looked up a good protege in Brock Osweiler to go under Peyton Manning for the next couple of seasons. So overall, I like their picks. I'm going to give them a B. Next team to talk about, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Scott Polali, the GM, did a good job picking up these players, starting with Dontari Poe out of Memphis. Romeo Cornell was desperately looking for a nose tackle, and he finally found him in Poe. He did not do too well overall as a college football player, but based on that workout, this kid has so much upside, and I really think he has a bright future in the National Football League. The Kansas City Chiefs has been looking for tackles for the past couple of seasons, like LSU's players Tyson Jackson and Glenn Dorsey. Both these players, they haven't really playing up to expectations, and they're looking forward for Dontari Poe to be that it guy, that it factor at the defensive tackle position. He is a little bit of a risk, but I think that overall it's a pretty good selection. Now, the next couple of selections, they went with two offensive linemen, Jeff Allen and Stephen Donaldson out of Oklahoma State. Both these players, starting with Jeff Allen, he's a good offensive guard. I think he's going to play guard for the Chiefs. He could also play the tackle position, very versatile. And Stevenson, he's a great pass blocker, and I think he could help out Matt Castle in that passing tag. Matt Castle stats dropped this season due to injuries, and he struggled passing because of the lack of the ability of the offensive line and that passing attack. And I think both of these players can help out at the passing protection for Matt Castle in the passing game. Now, in the later rounds, they picked up a speedster at the receiver position, Devin Wiley out of Fresno State. He reminds me so much of Wes Welker because of his speed. He's a little bit faster than Wes Welker, but he did not have too many receptions while he was at Fresno. But I think he could work well as a slot receiver with Matt Castle and help out the receiving corps for the Kansas City Chiefs. They also picked up a good safety in Daquan Menzie out of Alabama. He already was part of one of probably the best secondary in college football last season, and he's going to be working alongside Eric Berry, so he already knows how to play with other stars of the team. Eric Berry is coming off of a knee surgery, and I think he's going to bounce back and become a good all-pro type safety working alongside Menzie. In the 6th round, they picked up an underrated running back out of Texas A&M, Cyrus Gray. For the past couple of seasons, he rushed for over 1,000 yards, working along with Christian Michael, becoming a decent tandem in college football. Now, both these players have been dealing with durability issues, but I really think this is going to be a good addition for that running back team for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jamal Charles is coming back. He's a little bit banged up coming off of knee surgery. He torn his knee ligament last season, and I think Cyrus Gray is going to be a great complement with Jamal Charles. For fantasy football tips, keep an eye out Cyrus Gray. If Jamal Charles is down, I think you should go with this kid because he's very overlooked, underrated kid, and I think he can give you some tough yardage. I remember he played against my Texas Longhorns and ran all over them, and I really think this is going to be a good fit for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, overall for this team, I'm going to give them a B-. Great job, guys. Next team to talk about, our very own Pro Football's exclusive, Justin Godsey, his team, the San Diego Chargers. I think they did the best out of this entire conference, this entire division. Starting with their first pick, a steal out of South Carolina. Melvin Ingram had over 10 sacks this past season, and I really think they found that pass rusher that they needed. With their second pick, they picked up a player that I even overlooked, Kendall Reyes out of Connecticut. This kid had 46 tackles last season to go along with 13.5 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks. Those are good numbers in the Big East Conference, and I really think this is pretty much of a sleeper at the defensive tackle position. A big upgrade, big addition to that defensive line, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens this upcoming season with these two rookies. Now, in the later rounds, they picked up a good safety out of LSU, Brandon Taylor. He would definitely work alongside Eric Weddle and help out the secondary for the San Diego Chargers. Brandon Taylor was their third round selection, and they picked up a good tight end out of Louisiana Lafayette, Ladarius Green. He would definitely learn under Antonio Gates, the future Hall of Famer for the San Diego Chargers. Now, the thing about Green is that he is a little slim. He weighs 338 pounds. He needs to bulk up just a little bit. And also, he sometimes drops the ball on easy passes. He needs to work on that. But I think with going under Antonio Gates, he could learn so much and make a good transition in the National Football League. And one of their latest picks, they picked up David Malk, the Remington Award winner for the best center in college football out of Michigan. He has raw technique, great technique, and I think he could become the starter at the center position and be under Phillip Rivers. So overall, like I said, I'm going to give this team a B+. They did a great job. I think they did the best in the division. And last, and certainly not least, need to talk about the Oakland Raiders, the bad boys of the National Football League. Now, their first selection did not come until the 3rd round because of the big Carson Palmer trade that we saw last season. They went with Tony Burstream out of Fresno State. I think he's a good guard / tackle, but I think he's going to be a guard for the Oakland Raiders. And I really like their second selection. They went with Miles Burris, this outside linebacker out of San Diego State. He had 19.5 tackles for loss that season to go along with 8.5 sacks. I really think that he could make a good play for the Oakland Raiders and be a sleeper. I think he's a good pass rusher, and I think he could go off the edge and help out that defensive line and the linebacking core for the Raiders. Now, the next two selections, I had big question marks for these two kids out of Penn State, Jake Crawford and Nathan Stupper. Both these two players are a little bit too much of a development and a project for the Oakland Raiders. I think at best, both these players are going to be special teams players. I think they're wasted picks with these two selections. Now, They had another question mark and another player that I need to talk about, Jerron Kreiner out of Arizona. This kid is a big talent. He had 22 touchdowns overall for the past couple seasons in college football, over 2,000 yards receiving. He has great leaping ability. He can get to the football. He is a poor blocker, and also he had a lot of off-the-field issues during his stay at Arizona, and that is a little bit of a question mark for me because he's a bad boy, and you put him in a bad environment with a young Raiders team. Oakland is known to be the bad boys of the National Football League, one of the bad boy teams of this league, and I really think you put him in a bad situation. I think this could be a wasted pick, putting him in a tough environment with young kids and no veteran leaders over him so where he can learn and not make any bad choices outside the field. I really think this is a question mark, but I think he's a great talent. So overall for this team, I'm going to give them a C-. I think I'm being nice at that. I think a lot of people put the Oakland Raiders as a D overall for their selections, but the Kreiner selection, I like this kid. He is talented, but you put him in a bad environment, and he already had bad off-the-field issues. I don't really think he can be a good chemistry and be a good complement overall, but we will see. Hopefully he recovers from everything and shows everybody that he was a guy that everybody passed up, and I think because of his talent, he can do that. Now, the next time I catch you guys is tomorrow, where I'm going to talk about the AFC North teams and their picks for this year's NFL Draft. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.